Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm Jack Canfield, your host for Hollywood Live. My next guest is Dr. Wendy Ward. She is not only a physician, but she's a life transformation specialist, and she specializes, or one of her passions at least, is working with youth and helping them go from survival to thriving and success. So we're going to talk about that. You know, have this wonderful term, entertainment. We're going to talk about that as well. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be
I'm
here.
looking forward, because we've talked a little bit and I already know a little bit about what you do. It's great.
Yes.
So now, there's a lot about you that I didn't say in that introduction. Just give everyone a little bit of a background of, you know, who you are and what you do.
Certainly. Well, you mentioned that my passion is empowering young people to survive, thrive, and succeed. But I also want to add to be happy as well. Because I think a lot of times when we're in that pursuit of success, we forget the happy part. And my passion has been intensified by a recent issue with young people today. They're in crisis, actually. Chronic stress has become a public health crisis. As a matter of fact, suicide is the second leading cause of death in youth today. And the suicide rate for girls has increased 70%. And for
70%?
70%, and for boys, 25%. And this is just a tragic thing. So whenever something like that happens, I always spring into action. And it really led me to create MPower Productions. And I created a stress management and success training program where I use both science and a spiritual approach and multimedia entertainment, really to help young people transform their way of thinking, being, doing, and behaving, so they are equipped to handle life with coping skills and so on and so forth, because I really want them to do well, not only to succeed, but also to be happy.
Now, when you mention multimedia, are you doing like live seminars with multimedia, or it's online work? How are you delivering this?
Well, I'm kind of a Renaissance woman. I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. So I'm a songwriter, I'm a filmmaker. So sometimes I'll do it as a one-woman show. It depends on the audience, it depends on the age of the audience. I cater to adolescent youth, which has a wide range, ages 11 to 21, but I focus primarily on high school youth because they are the ones that really need it the most. So basically, my focus is whatever is needed, whatever the forum is. I do keynote speaking, I do workshops, I do interactive things with the kids. So it really depends on what the format is to determine the type of entertainment I will use to educate and empower them.
Now, you're a doctor.
That's correct.
But I want to focus on the entertainment part for a minute. What was the defining moment that made you, a trained medical doctor, say, I'm going to go do this?
I would like to say that I was a genius about this, Jack, but I really, really wasn't. About 8 years into being a physician, literally my soul called, and I felt I should be doing more. Here I am, a Renaissance woman. I have all these talents, all these abilities, and I really felt that I could be using them in a more meaningful way. So I kind of went on a journey of self-discovery, if you will. And I realized that I could do more. And what it led me to do was create MPower Productions and become a life transformation specialist to really empower young people and get them to turn that pain that they have into passion. And if you notice, you can't spell the word passion without pain. And promote that into purpose and ultimately into their dreams and their destiny and living their purpose.
I'm thinking about pain, P-A, and then the
yes,
I.
it's a thought provoker.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. It's really good. Now, when you look at the world of education, transformation of our youth, what's the state of that world right now, according to you?
I think we need to be a little bit more creative about it. As I mentioned, young people are definitely in crisis today, and they're really up against a lot of things. One of the things that's creating this stress for them is social media, although they love it. Their social interactions, which are strained, interactions with their parents, school and grades. They want to measure up, but the thing that kind of interrupts them in a way is what we call snowplow parenting. I don't know if you know what snowplow parenting is.
I've heard of helicopter parents, but not snowplow parents.
Well, it's a graduation from helicopter to to snowplow. And really what it is imagine a snowplow going ahead and clearing out the way so you can get your car out of the driveway.
Right.
It's the same thing parents are doing. They are preventing their kids from having failure, frustration, or anything that's going to make them feel uncomfortable. And this is tragic because they don't develop the necessary life skills they need to cope. The good news is awareness. The mainstream media is now on board with this. In fact, there was an article in the New York Times recently about snowplow parenting. So the awareness is elevating, and with awareness, we're able to do something about it. Also, in terms of my industry as a whole, it's increasing, it's expanding. So we're doing a lot about that. But the truth really is, it takes a village to raise a child. Kids aren't always around schools or elements where they're going to be empowered. They're in the community, they're with their parents. So the key really is we have to empower and train the community as well and the parents to handle the kids and really prepare them to be the future leaders of tomorrow and be happy.
You know, I think that's true. When I grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia, if I was out of school at 2 in the afternoon, someone would go, "Aren't you Ellen Canfield's boy? Shouldn't you be in school?" That doesn't
Yes.
happen today.
Oh my goodness, it absolutely does not. And any parent had liberty to talk to any child.
Right.
And I miss that. I think it's necessary because I think a lot of different people add value to a child's life. I know I'm a mosaic. I am who I am because of all the people that fed into me. I would never be who I am without that.
So you talk about this youth empowerment as an industry. You talked about it.
Sure.
You're doing amazingly good work in that arena. What makes your work so good?
I think passion, dedication, and commitment. You know, when it comes to that, you really have to know that it's a team sport in approaching this crisis and empowering young people. So I don't see competition, I see cooperation. Teamwork makes the dream work. I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm not good at, and I think that's important. Because if I need to incorporate someone else to assist in the process of meeting the need of one of my clients, I'm free to call them. I will definitely include someone else. So whether I have to empower my young people or my clients directly or indirectly or collaboratively, I'm going to do that. The results, meeting their needs, that's the result that we want.
So take me into, you're in a school, you're presenting to the students. What are some of the messages you're giving them?
Well, I'll give you an example of a story.
Sure.
And this is a wonderful story. It was career day at one of the middle schools. And typically, the kids are given our name and what our profession is. So I go to the school and I get ready to present. I have on my lab coat, I have on my stethoscope. I give them the visual that they want. And then I tell them, you're going to learn from me, I'm going to learn from you, and we are going to have fun. I whip off my jacket, I whip off my stethoscope, and underneath, I have a New York Knicks throwback number 10 jersey, Clyde Frazier, my favorite player. I wore number 10 throughout my career. The kids go wild. I go in my bag of tricks, because I always have props to keep the kids entertained. I pull out my basketball, and I just start dribbling it between my legs. The kids are insane. And there's something behind that number 10. It's actually a mantra. What it means is, I'm the one to make my dreams come true, and 0 can stop me when I'm in pursuit. So it's like subliminal messaging throughout the presentation. And one experience that I had during a career day was it was heartwarming. At the end of my presentation, I asked the kids if they have any questions. So one young man, his name is Jay, we'll call him Jay, raises his hand and asks me, "Are you always this hyper?" I run over to his seat and I said, "I am always that hyper because it allows me to empower you while you have fun." Then I will give out questionnaires, 3 short questions for the kids to hand in to me so that I can improve what I bring to the kids the next time. And Jay comes up and he hands me his questionnaire and he says, "I want you to read it now. I want you to read it now." So I read it now and I tell you, Jack, I almost burst out into tears. The second question is, what did I learn most? And what he said was, I learned that I am enough.
Wow.
And that just blew my mind. And what I had found out is Jay got in trouble for being hyper. So he said, if she can be hyper and do what she does, I'm good. And I had the good fortune to meet his mom a short time after that, and she said, I changed his life. That's when I knew that my calling was the right thing to do. Because a lot of people say, how did you leave medicine and go into this? I love it. Turning on the light in a child's eyes.
Yeah, watching those lights come on.
It is everything.
Beautiful.
It is everything.
We should just let our viewers know you were a college basketball player.
Yes.
That's why you were
Point
able to
guard for
dribble between
UMass.
your legs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I've actually been playing basketball since I was 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah, up until quite a few years ago when my knees kind of said, okay, we're done with that.
Yeah, jumping up and down on hardwood floors
Absolutely.
gets to you eventually.
It really does.
Now, if you were to travel back in time from where you are sit now,
Sure.
what advice would you give the younger you from the perspective you have now that you might not have had when you were younger? Well, we have a lot of entrepreneurs watching our show, and I would like them to gain from the wisdom of your experience. What would you say to your younger self?
The word is perfect. I used to be an incurable perfectionist, and luckily I was cured. When you wait for perfect, you can't ever wait for the perfect time or the perfect situation or the perfect circumstance to start or to be perfect yourself. We're human, we're going to make mistakes. My advice really is courageously move forward toward your passion and toward your dreams. Just do your best. That's all you can do. And be flexible and fail forward. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. Failure is simply informative. Continue to learn from your mistakes, grow from them, develop, and continue to move forward toward your destiny. And believe in yourself and just take one step at a time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, your energy and your persona is as powerful as the words you say, because you're a living embodiment of it. Now, if people want to find out more about you and your work, where do they go?
They can reach me on my website at www.MPowerProductions.com. That's MPOWER, Productions spelled out with an S on the end, .com. And for anyone who reaches out to me, they can email me and I will send them a free video of my Stress Buster formula so they can get started on stress management today.
That's great. Well, you heard it here. Take advantage of that. No need for stress if you know what this woman can teach you. And if you care about kids, if you work with kids, make sure you reach out to her too. She can have a great influence on them. So thank you very much, Wendy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
You're very welcome. So stick around, folks. We'll have one more guest before we end the day, and we'll be right back.